Chapter 17. Agent Mary Ryan. Mary stared at her ringing desk phone. The secure line nobody outside the agency should have had the number for. This made the message flashing on the display in red confusing to her. Unknown outside caller. Who was calling her? Her instincts screamed at her to ignore the call after dealing with the encrypted email and the problems with her boss, Thomas Jefferson. But she built her career on following leads others dismissed. If Jefferson needed more proof to act, she'd find the proof. She needed to put Popov away. It took 4 rings for her to work up the courage to lift the receiver. Agent Ryan. Static crackled through the line, then a robotic voice spoke. The sound didn't reveal the age or the sex of the mystery caller. You're running out of time. Mary straightened in her chair, reaching for a notepad. Who is this? What do you want? The mechanical voice continued. You need to go to Rocky Mount. Popov's men are preparing to move. They're leaving tomorrow. Get them now or miss them forever. How did you get this number? What is Popov doing? Static filled the line, almost masking the voice. Come to Rocky Mount. Watch Popov. Listen to me. Mary pressed the mystery caller, her voice dropping to a harsh whisper. If you have actionable intent about Popov's operation, then you need to... A loud click echoed in her ear, followed by dead air. Mary slammed the receiver down, her heart pounding, pulsating in her ears. She glanced around the bullpen, but nobody paid her any attention. An email breaching the FBI security, and now a call to her direct agency line. Someone was watching her, playing a sick game. But what if it wasn't a game? She pulled up the GPS coordinates from the email again, verifying them on the map. They led to Rocky Mount. The pieces aligned, but into what? Mary moved the mouse pointer over the IT support icon on her screen. Her finger hovered over the touchpad on her laptop. One click would start the proper procedure, putting her on the right side of the law. Report the data breach. Document the anonymous phone call. Let the cybersecurity team figure it out. That's how the system worked. Had the system worked for Mom and Dad? A harsh truth driving her to take action. She opened her email application, selecting the message from the unknown sender. Her mouse cursor blinked over the delete button. Jefferson would verify she followed the rules. He always did. But if she left the files on the server, he'd bury them and suspend her. A big win for him, getting her out of his way. Screw it! Her feelings of frustration came out in her words before she could stop them. Mary pulled an unauthorized thumb drive from her pocket, copying the files before scrubbing the email from the FBI's system. Jefferson could search day and night, but he'd find only compliance with his orders. She needed to get to Rocky Mount today. If Popov's crew planned to act tomorrow, she'd had hours, not days, to stop them. No time to wait for backup, authorization, or go through proper channels. Waiting meant losing him, maybe forever. Mary touched her holstered Glock 19 like a talisman, checking the 4 extra magazines. She hoped to not use the gun, but needed to be ready to defend herself. No sense ending up like that witness who fell victim to the car bomb. She needed to be smart to stop the organization in its tracks. Her mind raced through tactical approaches as she grabbed her car keys. The hill in Washington Park would give her a clear view of Popov's massive compound, allowing her to monitor his movements. If she hadn't already been too late. But she needed help. Real help. Not Jefferson's bureaucratic blessing. The first name that came to mind. Sean Callahan, FBI SWAT team leader. They had worked together, an honest man looking to do the right thing. Unlike Jefferson, he would understand the need for immediate action, especially with the new intel. Mary stood, pulling on her blazer. She checked to see if her gun remained accessible. Be prepared to fight if she had to. Either she'd find the backup she needed from Sean, or she'd figure out another way to take Popov down. He wouldn't slip away this time. She found Callahan at the FBI training facility, supervising his team on the outdoor firing range. Even from the observation room overlooking the field, she saw why he commanded the respect of his agents. He demanded excellence from everyone, driving them beyond their natural abilities. At a muscular 6'2", he wore his tactical gear like Sunday casual wear. His eyes watched over his people with a sniper's focus. Ryan? She wondered how he knew she had approached, between the noise and the fact he kept his eyes on the range. Heard you had a dust-up with Jefferson this morning. Watch yourself. The man's an ass. Gossip within the agency travels fast. She pulled the thumb drive from her pocket, holding it up for him to see. I need your help on something, Sean. That an official request? Not exactly. It's more like a keep Americans alive request. Callahan's jaw tightened as he blew out of breath. But he turned, following her to the facility's secure briefing room. Mary put the evidence, bank records, photos, and intelligence up on the 3 large monitors. Damn. Callahan leaned closer to the screen, studying the displays. Where'd you get all this information? An anonymous source delivered it via our own FBI network. Through our... He stood, shaking his head, turning away from the monitors. Tell me you didn't show me stolen intel, Ryan. I bought you actionable intelligence about an imminent threat. They're mobilizing for tonight or tomorrow. Something big is going down, Sean. Does Jefferson know you're here? Jefferson wants to bury it. Hope for something to come in through the proper channels while Popov takes action. Callahan sighed, rubbing his temple. You want me to authorize a tactical team to raid a Russian mobster's compound based on an email from a ghost? No, based on solid intel. It's right in front of you. Not a chance, Ryan. You know how this works. I need authorization from further up the chain of command. Warrants. Verified sources. Then it'll be too late, and Popov will escape. You've seen what he does. Car bombs, executions. How many more bodies do you need before you do something? We need probable cause that'll stand up in court. Get me something to work with. An eyewitness, surveillance footage. Anything legitimate. They're gonna hurt people, Sean. Then get the proof. Actual evidence, not that imaginary stuff. You're a good agent, Mary. Don't throw away your career on an unverifiable hunch. He turned, strolling through the door. She watched his back disappear around the corner. The thumb drive weighed in her hand. Another bureaucrat chose procedure over justice, slamming another door in her face. If he wants proof, then she'd get proof the hard way. Once she got the evidence, nobody would ignore her anymore. The sun hung low over Rocky Mount as Mary parked her black, unmarked SUV behind a row of leafless trees in Washington Park. Buds filled the trees, showing signs of spring, even if the weather said otherwise. She had a clear view of Popov's compound, a sprawling, garish place to himself, surrounded by an 8-foot fence. Cameras encircled the lot, pointing both inside and out, a sign of his paranoia, which had kept him out of prison. So far. She killed the engine, leaving the key in her pocket. Be prepared to run or give chase depending on Popov's actions. Through her binoculars, she counted 3 black Cadillac SUVs parked in the forecourt. Similar to hers except for high-end rides. Typical family vehicles allowing them to blend into the surrounding traffic. Come on, give me something I can use. A dozen men walked out of the building, loading gear into the back of their SUVs. Each wore body armor, carrying an AK-47 slung over their shoulders. After a few minutes, Sergey Popov joined his men. A minion bowed to the older man as he opened the front passenger side door of the last vehicle. She grabbed her camera before Popov disappeared inside the cabin. Mary struggled to hold the camera steady, letting the extra-long telephoto lens capture every detail. The men continued to stand around the vehicles after Popov closed his door. They didn't seem to be in a hurry to go anywhere. Popov waved his hands around while speaking into the phone. His driver and men gave him privacy. Why would he come outside to make a call? Had he been compromised? What are you doing, Popov? Where's Pavel Ivanov? Mary pushed the button on her camera while questioning his movements. She documented everything. Detailed surveillance to make Callahan take notice. At least she'd hope he'd opened his mind with this proof. One of Popov's men turned toward the park, raising a pair of binoculars, scanning the parking lot. Mary stashed the camera, sliding lower in her seat. Her hand moved to her Glock, even though it would be useless at this range. He scanned the tree line for a long moment before dropping the binoculars from his face. She'd seen enough, needing to leave before they spotted her. If they found her, they'd kill her. Then nobody would convince Callahan to take his bastard down. Mary found Callahan reviewing after-action reports in the same secure briefing room where he had left her earlier. Without waiting for an invitation, she took the seat across from the table from him, placing her camera on the table between them. "I've got the proof you asked for." Callahan looked up from his paperwork, his eyes narrowing, his lips flattening before he spoke. "This better be legitimate evidence this time. No anonymous sources sending hearsay." His words felt like a punch in the gut. She connected the camera to the monitor displaying her photos. "Look, it's Popov himself, surrounded by a dozen armed men. They're carrying AK-47s, body armor, the works. These men aren't playing around, Sean." He studied the images as they flashed on the screen, his expression hardening as each passed. "When did you take them?" "About 45 minutes ago. Look." She zoomed in on a picture of Popov sitting in his SUV. "He's up to something, stepping outside to make a call where even his own security cameras couldn't see or hear him. Does that sound like normal behavior to you?" "It's suspicious, I'll give you that. But it's not probable cause. Those men could be private security, or they could be—" "Private security doesn't need that kind of firepower." Mary's voice rose, interrupting him. "You wanted proof, and here it is. Popov, his men, and enough artillery to start a war." Callahan rubbed his jaw, his eyes scanning the photos on the screen, his eyes showing the scenarios running through his brain. Had she convinced him? "Even if I wanted to move on this evidence, and I'm not saying I do, I'd need Jefferson's sign-off. You, of all people, Agent Ryan, know that." "If we wait for Jefferson, then it'll be too late." Her words came out as a shout. Mary bit her tongue, forcing herself to lower her voice before she continued. "You've got tactical command authority. We can do this clean, by the book. Just give me a team." He stood, shaking his head. "The book says we need proper authorization, a warrant. You get that with a witness or a wiretap, something proving criminal intent." "They're gonna kill people, Sean." "Then find the proof. Actual evidence, Mary, not suspicious activity." He strolled through the door, showing no concern. Her hands balled into fists as she watched him leave, the photos of the armed men filling the screens, mocking her efforts to stop Popov. Her phone buzzed in her pocket. Unknown caller. Mary stared at the screen. After taking the call from the last anonymous caller, she should ignore this one, but her finger wouldn't listen to common sense, swiping across the string. "Ryan." She expected the robotic voice to answer her. Instead, a male voice with a heavy Italian accent spoke perfect English. "You took some nice pictures today, Agent Ryan, but you missed the trees in the woods, no?" Mary's throat went dry as her brain translated his words into the proper English cliché. Not something they teach in an ESL classroom. She glanced at the empty doorway where Callahan had disappeared, contemplating her next move. "Who is this? What do you want?" The man chuckled before responding. "Someone who wants Popov gone. Maybe even more than you." "That doesn't answer my questions." Ice clinked against the glass in silence. "Taking random photos from the park won't stop Popov. I can give you what you need to stop him." "Then give me the evidence I need to stop him." "Come to the pit in Rocky Mount. 1 hour. Come alone. You'll find what you need there." "Why should I trust you?" Click. The line went dead. Mary stared at the photo one last time, trying to find the connection. All the pieces of the mosaic lay before her, but she couldn't assemble the puzzle. She sighed, knowing she had to go to the pit, a nickname for an abandoned quarry on the outskirts of Rocky Mount. The perfect place for an ambush to kill an FBI agent, but she had to go to find the answers. Her mind screamed at her to walk away. Let the system work, surviving for another day. She pulled her Glock from her shoulder holster, checking the load. Out of habit, she counted her spare magazines. Time to stop Popov for good, even if Callahan wouldn't help.